I want to show you how to graph a piecewise function. And what I'm going to use is basically for each piece of the function, I'm going to create a table of values. And then once I get those table of values, I'm just going to plot the points. So the very first one that I'm going to start with is the piece where x is less than or equal to 0. So I'm going to draw a table here, x, and then I'm going to do the output f of x. And I'm going to use 0 because that's one of the intervals. So I'm going to use 0 here. And I need another point in that interval, and I need something that's less than 0. So I'm going to use a -5. Now, I can use any number that's less than 0, but I chose -5, and then I'll explain to you why I chose that later. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to evaluate. I'm going to put 0 in for x, and then I'm going to evaluate it. So it's going to be a -4/5 times 0 plus 2. And that's going to be 0 plus 2, which is going to be equal to 2. So the output is 2. Now, for a -5, I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to be a -4/5 times a -5 plus 2. All right, now, the reason I chose it 5, because a -5 divided by 5 is going to be a -1. And then a -1 times 4, a -4 is going to be a +4. So that's going to be 4 plus 2. So this is going to be 6. All right, that's why I chose a -5, because it simplifies, it reduces. So now that I've got my 2 points, I am going to plot them. But before I do that, one more thing. Because this is a less than or equal to, that means that this is going to be a closed circle. So when I plot this 0, 2, which is going to be right here, I'm making sure that I have a closed circle. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to plot one other point, a -5, 6. So I go over to -5 up 6. So that's going to be here. Now I'm just going to put a little small point, because what I really want to do is I want to use that point to draw through, because I'm going to draw an arrow, because that's what that piece of the function looks like. Now I'm going to do the second piece from 0 to 3. X is greater than 0 but less than 3. So now I'm going to create another table, and I'm going to use those two intervals, 0 and 3. So when the input is 0, the output is going to be 2, and when the input is 3, the output is also going to be 2. Now, remember, neither one of these inequalities have an equal sign underneath, so these are going to be open circles. Now, if I plot 0, 2, there is already a point there, and it's a closed circle. So a closed circle takes precedence over the open circle. So we're going to leave it as a closed circle. Even though this is open, the other one was closed, so the closed one takes over. And then we're going to do 3, 2. 3, 2 is going to be here, and that's going to be an open circle. And then all I have to do is connect these two pieces. And that's done. Now, I got one more piece here. I'm going to change colors. And this is going to be the interval where x is greater than or equal to 3. And so I'm going to create a table, another table, my third and final table. And I need 2 numbers. So I'm going to use the interval 3, and then I need a number that's greater than 3. So I'm going to use 4. And then we're just going to plug the 3 in for x and evaluate it. So it's going to be a -4 times 3 plus 17. So that's going to be a -12 plus 17. So that's going to be a +5. And then we're going to do the same thing. A -4 times 4 plus 17. That's going to be a -16 plus 17. That's going to be a +1. Now, let's go back. Since this is an equal sign, this is going to be a closed circle when I graph it. So when I go to 3, 5, this is going to be a closed circle. And then I'm going to do 4, 1, which is right here. And I'm just going to put a little dot, because that's what I'm going to use to draw my arrow through. And that's not a very good one. Let me try this again. There you go. That's good. Now that's what the graph looks like. That's what your graphs should look like. Create the tables first, and then once you create the tables, go ahead and plot those points. All right, guys.